right now on your screen you see Groundious and you see deecavo. Unfortunately, you actually don't see deecavo. There was not really a DQ, but a no-show. So the win is going to go to Groundious, but there is going to be an exhibition, kind of a show of what's going to be happening with this. And this game, honestly, I got a chance to play it. I know you got a chance to play it. Warning Trek is a lot of fun. You're going to see some really tight movement. Already, look at this. Just fast movement. This game is designed for speedrunning.
That's exactly right. From the ground up, you can tell they did it with speedrunning in mind. That's one thing I like about games. You know, a lot of these old classic games have become speedrunning games, you know, after the fact, sometimes decades later, right? You see Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, things like that, where the developers had no idea, of course, what was in store. But you get these modern games, sometimes they know going in, hey, you know, speedrunning can be a really cool way to take advantage of some of these mechanics. Let's do it. Let's make it easy for the players from the ground up. And you're just totally right. Everything about it is built for that. The movements, of course, right? The mechanics, of course. But even the super fast 3, 2, 1 countdown. Look at that. It's not even 3 full seconds, is it? It's about 1 second. And the optimization, the lightning quick load times. Everything is built for reset, try again, learn.
My favorite thing about the movement in this game is the way it uses a teleport mechanic. Very similar to something like Celeste, but it's used with a 1-2 where you throw the dagger and then you teleport to the dagger. So you go through certain obstacles and you can get past the death, like whatever that laser is. And you also have an attack button, but at the same time you can also use your dagger to get past these enemies and you don't even have to attack. So you're able to get through quite a bit of things with just the dagger alone. And there is the ability to really press it fast to where you can almost keep yourself in the air and save yourself. So in a racing mechanic, it really does play a huge part because sometimes too many deaths can really put you behind.
Yeah, I mean, you could see the skill ceiling is here. There's a lot of fun right off the bat for anyone who wants it. But if you want to get really into this, you can see you can get really, really into it. You can get really, really good. You see now and then 3 or 4 of those teleportation daggers. I swear, I'm going to start calling them warp daggers because we only have so many syllables in us each day. But the teleportation daggers, when they nail 3 or 4 in a row, you can barely keep up with the movements, let alone be the person executing them. But it's also really fun to watch because they basically are, teleporting through the stream. And where are they? Every time you look, they're already at the next spot.
Exactly. And when you see the game, so after they get through with a level, you're going to see at the very end, this game is designed around competition. It has a very cool top 10 at the very end. You can race against your friends. And things of that nature. You can race against the world, you can race against different areas. It's a very well-designed tournament mechanic. Rather, not really tournament, that's the wrong word, but a top 10 mechanic, where you see how fast somebody can be and where the optimizations are.
Competitive mechanic, yeah, and unfortunately, it's good for all those things. Bad for casters. We have to try to keep up with this, by the way, and it's a brand new game too. So there are no experts in this game exactly. Although this player already, Groundious, looks like he's becoming one right before our very eyes. Look at this. Does launch on September 30th, by the way. So if you like what you see, you're going to be able to play this very, very soon. Look at this. Groundious definitely seeing the mistakes, but I'm seeing more good than bad from our first player here.
Absolutely, and you see right there when Groundious was falling, they threw the dagger at the top of that ledge and ended up on the other side. As they're falling, they can still go through the wall. As long as the dagger is still on screen, you can teleport to it. But when the dagger is getting off of screen, it will come back to you. So you have that window, literal window, to be able to teleport to the dagger.
I like that little troll at the end of that stage, by the way. You think there's going to be one more wall for you to dagger into, but there isn't, and you have to stop and wait lest that laser gets you. And you have to hesitate for just a second. And I think that's kind of the stopping on a dime, thinking very quickly, the reactivity that we know with a lot of other speedrunning games. You and I have cast Super Mario Maker 2 together, for example, and reaction is a big part of that. And I think that's the case here too. Obviously, you want to be efficient. You want to find a good route through some of these over time, and that's kind of how this format works. But every now and then, it throws you a little something where you have to take just 1 second, just one little beat, or you're going to die.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, they've seen a few of these levels, they have had the chance to practice a few of these levels, but a lot of this can be blind. This game is brand new. There's been dev builds, there has been beta, alpha builds, there's been a lot of work on this game, And again, on Steam, go wishlist it. This game is going to be a lot of fun. I think that everybody who is in the speedrunning community is going to have a lot of fun with this game. September 30th, it's coming out in 5 days. So this is a great way to showcase what this game is made of.
Yeah, and the format, obviously this is a bit of an exhibition because of that no-show, because of that forfeit, so Groundious is going to move on to the top 32 automatically, but they're still going through the motions here, and they're going to be happy to have the practice, because as you mentioned, a lot of these players have not seen this before. They are going to be learning as they go, so there are some blind speed runs, albeit with a bunch of tries. This is going to be also about who can form complex and efficient strategies on the fly, and I'd say the only thing harder than blind speedrunning is probably blind speedrun casting, but I think we're up to it. The format, when they play proper, when we have two people actually going live against each other, is going to be where the runners have a set amount of time with unlimited resets to grind for the best time they can for that level. In this case, 10 minutes.
Exactly, and then the top 32 is going to have 30 minutes, or rather 40 minutes. Is it 40 or 30? I might
30, yeah, I think with a little extra, little margin in there. Yeah.
Exactly, and it's going to be a grind to see who can get the fast, and really that the fastest time. And that's going to put a lot of stress on the runners. And as a caster, I like talking about that because people forget that is a very big factor in any kind of competition. Is any kind of stress, any kind of little movements that you might be doing, any mistakes that you might make of, oh man, I need to do this, I need to do this. Some people take it and run with it, and they do the absolute most amazing. Some people can kind of fall apart, but that's what makes it entertaining, in all honesty, is seeing how they overcome.
Yeah, I mean, think about poor Groundious here. Not only is it a game they're relatively unfamiliar with, because again, it's brand new, comes out in 5 days for crying out loud, but some blind speedrunning, and they have to be first. They have to be first too. So this is quite a task we're putting before Groundious, but they seem to be doing really well so far. And I think responding pretty well to that pressure, they do have some speedrun experience with a game called The Messenger, if you're familiar with it. Kind of a similar 8-bit throwback, actually, kind of a Ninja Gaiden homage.
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden, very similar to the very popular Castlevania, the Metroidvania styles. Very, very fun game as well. So the way that we're going to be running this the tournament over the next few days is you're going to see the top 64. You're going to see 2 in a row matches of top 64, and then the next match after that is going to be the top 32. So you're going to see the winner of the 2 matches prior go at it together on the next match. So the top 32 is not going to be waiting. They're going to be playing right after their top 64 matches.
Yeah, they don't have the chance to rust, to sit there, get cold. And boy, as a caster, don't you just love having the narrative built right in? 2 people play, and then they play each other. It's a nice little mini story every hour or so throughout the tournament, which I think is going to be very, very entertaining. As if the game itself were not entertaining enough, you're seeing a lot of resets here from Groundious in this one, and I think that's what we're going to expect to see here. If they're going in blind, they're going to want to go probably a little slow through the entire stage once or twice to get the lay of the land, the lore, as you like to say, right? Kind of like learn the level, and then start to form their strategies, because the only one that matters is their best time during the run.
Exactly. And let's not forget too that this, so we were talking about top 64, but we were given some information just before we started this from our good friend Milo, who is doing the restream here on Speedrun. There was 4,000 entrants into this tournament.
Wow.
So we're looking at the top 64 out of 4,000. That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's honestly more than I was going to guess. That means that we already have, a lot of skill on display. And you can see it, right? You know, I shouldn't be so surprised when we see this. Look at this. Look at that. Look at him go. Like, look at that. That's what happens when you take just a few dozen from a pool of 4,000, is even in a brand new game, even learning it on the fly in front of an audience here on GSA, still doing this well.
Exactly. And I can't, we could speak all day on the skill that's being shown. I want to talk a little bit about the game itself too. Look at the graphics. As simple as they may seem, they're beautiful. It is such a beautiful background, the animated background. You can see the train going in the back in that one section.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. That's my favorite part by far, is the train. I love those little touches.
It is
makes the world feel alive, right?
Yeah, and like the background being like a very New York landscape style, but futuristic. It's so almost serene, but it's a speedrun game. It's hard to say the word serene in a speedrun game, but I love the view. It's so, you want to go slow and look at the view, but you can't. You
can't.
have to beat the game. You have to go fast.
Gotta go fast. Yeah, no, it is a really lovely style, and I do love seeing what people can do with those artistic limitations, with the 8-bit limitations. Actually, the backgrounds remind me a little bit of a game called Rocky Rodent back on the SNES back in the day. I don't know if anyone ever played that, but it had a lot of cityscapes behind it, and might be showing my age a little bit there. But I do love seeing like the low bit, the low res stuff, and whoa, way up in the sky there. These are mechanics I literally was not aware of yet, by the way. I am learning this as much as you or anyone else.
I want to know if that's repeatable.
Yeah.
I want to know if that is duplicatable, because that would just seem to be very fun just to see out of nowhere, almost like the many glitches and breaks that you find in many other. You mentioned the SNES. I was thinking Link to the Past. You see so many glitches that can be done in that game. It's ridiculous.
It's great to see. It's great to see. And I like that in this run in particular, you can tell there's more experimentation going on here. A little more than the first one. I think this first one's a little simpler. It didn't take very long, but here there's a little more, yeah, let's see what I can get. Let's go all the way through. Let's try this, let's try that. If this run is, and don't necessarily reset right away. If you try to do something you know you want to do and you fail, you reset and try again, because that's how you maximize your time. But if you're not sure about something, go ahead and use that broken kind of run to keep going and try something a little later in the run and then string things together, and then eventually you get that perfect run, and it's just so satisfying, certainly for the players, but also for the people watching.
Yeah, and you can see the sword that you're given, that you're able to use. It does have some reach through small walls, so we're gonna see on this level about maybe 2 seconds in where they swipe their sword, they hit that switch, and then they're trying to use their teleportation dagger to activate the next switch to open the door you can't teleport through.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we know. Do we have their best time? Yeah.
All right, so I'm not sure what their best time was on that. I don't know if we're going to actually worry about that at the moment, just because there is the forced forfeit from deecavo. Groundious is going to be going on to the top 32. We're going to go to a quick intermission, and then we're going to be coming back with the next match in just a moment. It's going to be me and Warning Trek again. Thank you, everybody. Just hang out, and we will be up with the next match.